Some people transmigrate into skeletons, while sitting surrounded by 3,000 beauties in the harem. Some people transmigrate into spiders, and can swallow the sky, the earth, and the air. Yet I transmigrated into a tree, still a willow tree for ornamental purposes, looking at the unfamiliar surroundings. At this moment, all I want to say is, who am I? Where am I? Wait a moment, I am obviously a tree. Why can I see everything around me? And I can clearly feel that there are 50 willow branches on my body, but I can only control one of them. Just then, a plane suddenly flew across the sky. Great! Is this modern society? Maybe it's the era where my previous life was. Suddenly, 2 bees buzzed incessantly next to me. I waved the willow twig and struck at them. With a snap, 2 bees died on the spot. Just as I was marveling at my accuracy, a system prompt suddenly popped up in front of me. Killing 2 bees earns 0.2 evolution points. At this point, the system prompted again. Do you want to use evolutionary points for reinforcement? Looking at the perilous environment around me, I didn't hesitate. I chose to strengthen myself. Just like that, I successfully unlocked 3 willow branches. Suddenly, I noticed a wasp nest up ahead. In pursuit of an upgrade, I swung a willow branch towards it. Unconsciously, I had already spent half a month in this canyon. At this point, I have unlocked all 50 locks on my body and willow staff. Moreover, I have also mastered a set of spiral attacks. The extremely hard giant rock, under my attack, was instantly blasted into pieces. With this skill, it's much easier to kill some small animals now, although I am still a weak willow tree. But I believe that one day, I will definitely become a world tree-like existence. On this day, I was feeling relieved at last, when I no longer have to work 996. Suddenly a blob of bird poop falls on my head. It turns out to be a group of small birds that landed on my branch God knows when, and it seems to be a group of young ones. You should know that the flying speed of adult gulls can exceed 270 kilometers per hour in this world full of mutated breath. If I can tame them, it's like gaining an extra boost. After all, there are probably quite a few existences like me, maybe not in the minority. It's likely that there are quite a few existences like me. There are too many unknowns in this world waiting for me to explore. If I don't improve my strength in time, I might meet a premature death one day. But what I didn't know is, at this moment, I've already caught the attention of a giant snake several hundred meters long, and that day, I was like usual, killing small animals. The system suddenly prompted me that I could strengthen my roots. I excitedly thought about being able to run freely in the future, so I immediately used evolution points to strengthen my roots. But the next second, a piercing pain swept through my whole body. It felt like countless tentacles were pulling and tearing at my body. Fortunately, it didn't last long, otherwise I would have been done for. But this time, the effort paid off. Just look at this strong and powerful tree root. Just thinking about it, you know its destructive power is definitely extraordinary. But the first thing to do is to try to see if I can move. As I pull up with all my strength, the next second, the tearing pain instantly comes. No. It seems that reinforcing just one tree root is not enough. We need to reinforce all of them. Ho, only then can the tree roots achieve free movement. However, the current tree roots can be used as their own killers. It can launch unexpected underground attacks during battles. Just then, suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bushes. It turned out to be a wounded little fox. And it seems to be poisoned. Just when I was considering whether to kill it for evolution points, the system suddenly prompted me that willow branch juice can detoxify and save it. With a curious heart, I dripped the juice transformed from the willow branch onto the fox. In just a short while, the little fox regained its vitality. Seeing this scene, I immediately prepared to kill it and turn it into my evolutionary point. But then, the fox suddenly threw me a flirtatious glance. Then it rubbed against me with its head. Audacious fox demon, daring to use charm techniques on me. Testing the cadres with this. Which cadre can't withstand such a test? Hi! Ah, no, no. I can't take it anymore. I don't care. Let's talk about this later, when I'm curious about this fox. Why is it so docile? When suddenly the system prompts that the red fox has absorbed willow juice and is ready to evolve. The next second, a large mutant red fox suddenly appeared. I was silly at this point. I didn't think that my juice would actually have the effect of evolving animals. Seeing the information on the screen showing Tier 4 entry level, I immediately pulled up my own attribute panel. UZU. Mutant Willow. Entering level 9. Sure enough, there must be stronger alien beasts in this world than me. And looking at the wounds on the previous fox's body, it seems to be from an arrow. I suppose there are still humans in this world. If I were to be discovered by humans now, I wonder if I'll be caught and dissected. After all, I can't beat machine guns and missiles now. Just then, Honghu suddenly leapt and disappeared in front of me. Then, not far away, two girls are slowly coming towards me. It turns out their father is buried beneath me. Every once in a while, they come to offer sacrifices to their father. I am speechless at the moment. I always feel something is off, but I can't quite pinpoint it. After the two girls finished worshipping, they said they wanted to go take a bath next door. I quickly opened my eyes when I heard that. Let's not have any dirty thoughts, guys. I just wanted to see if they had left. But the sound of their play was just too unbearable. So when I tried to turn around to look, I found that I was conveniently blocked by a tree next to me. And so I endured it until midnight. The two girls just remembered to go home. Unknowingly. 2 weeks have passed. Yujie, who I raised, has already reached level 3 at the time. But then a mutated golden eagle suddenly broke in. For a while, both sides fought fiercely. At this moment, the red fox suddenly launched a surprise attack from the side, but the next second, it was caught by the eagle's claws, accompanied by a loud rumble. At this point, Red Fox has lost its combat effectiveness, but if the golden hawk falls to the ground, then it will be mine. Immediately, I launched a spiral attack. The 7th level mutated golden hawk is now considered my evolution point. Evolution points plus 70. I am thrilled at this moment. But just a level 7 golden eagle is so difficult to deal with, then higher level mutant beasts would be even more trouble. Luckily, I have foreseen this. I have cultivated a group of UG capable of aerial combat, and that red fox, since the last time I saved it. It seems it has decided to stay here and not leave. Now I have accumulated 17 more evolution points, just when I was considering whether to use the evolution points to cultivate the wild animals first. Suddenly, a huge golden beam of light flashed in the air, following a loud rumble. My body was instantly split in half. In front of me, a 100-meter-long python was staring at me intently. Oh no, I'm done for. I can't believe I didn't sense such a powerful enemy just now. I bet this snake must have some kind of skill to conceal its presence. I quickly had the system retrieve the profile of this snake. Jean Ben Snake level 9. It has a tail like an axe that can cut everything. It is the nemesis of all plants. I can't believe it. I didn't expect it to be the same level as me. And this guy specifically targeted me. Just then, Little Red next to me suddenly roared angrily. It turned out her mother was killed by this battle-axe snake. At this moment, the battle-axe snake actually brought my stick to its mouth. Then it swallowed the whole trunk in one gulp. I couldn't help but exclaim upon seeing this scene. Sure enough, after the python finished eating my branch, a golden light instantly flickered in its eyes. Then it suddenly launched an attack towards me. After a loud roar, the battle-axe snake suddenly froze, because its invincible battle-axe. My roots actually blocked it. Don't think I'm afraid of you just because you're level 9. In close combat, the outcome is still uncertain. Suddenly, the battle-axe snake once again swung its tail and attacked me. I didn't just stand there. I quickly used evolution points to strengthen 3 tree roots. It was just an instant. The battle-axe snake was tightly entangled by my tree roots. Great opportunity. It's now. Strengthen all the roots. Just a moment. several thick roots drill out from the ground. Then, under my control, I whipped the 7-inch length of the battle-axe snake, causing the snake to spurt out a mouthful of blood, due to the intense pain. But at this moment, I couldn't feel happy, because that fierce blow just now only managed to create a small opening. Damn it! Am I really going to die at its hands like this? At this point, the battle-axe snake was staring at me intently but did not attack. Judging from its appearance, it was obviously frightened by my previous blow. Immediately, I released a strong sense of killing intent, in the hope of scaring it away. Obviously, I made the right bet. The battle-axe snake is actually scared. It turned around and slowly moved in the opposite direction. That was really a close call in this battle. I almost didn't make it. Fortunately, I managed to survive in the end, but that guy definitely won't just let it go. After all, my own strength is still too weak. Just then, the system suddenly prompted that I could evolve to the next stage, as a burst of green light shone around me. The tree trunk that was originally cut off began to slowly recover. The disappeared willow branches have grown back. Compared to before, I have at least grown by a circle now. But what's even more unexpected to me is, the red fox next to me has also evolved to level 7 in an advanced stage. It seems, they all seem to have been influenced by the light of my evolution. I then commanded the wandering group to go and see which way the battle-axe snake went. As soon as I finished speaking, the swarms flew out at lightning speed. I was stunned to see this scene. The current speed is already so fast. If they evolve again in the future, it will be incredible. And except for them, the red fox next to it also seems to have changed a lot. It has reached level 7. Not only has its body grown larger, it also looks more dazzling from the outside. Just then, suddenly, a cry for help came from a distance. It turned out to be the sisters from last time. They were desperately running in my direction. And behind them was a large group of ferocious beasts. I think these guys were probably all lured here by the light of evolution I just unleashed. Just as these two girls were in mortal peril, Red Fox appeared before them with a flash, and the wild boar chasing them instantly led the other beasts to surround them. Upon seeing this, the other ferocious animals immediately closed in, but just then, several puffs were heard. It turns out that the group of birds hovering in the air made their move. The two sisters who saw this scene were shocked. They never expected that it was a fox and a bird that saved them. As they watched more and more ferocious beasts gathering, I quickly said to Ada and Red Fox, "You can step back now. Next, just watch my performance." As the ground rumbled one after another, the next second, my roots spiraled out like a dragon. "Today, I will show you who the master of this forest is." As my words fell, all the roots began to attack. Just a moment. Most of the surrounding beasts were cleared by me. Just then, I suddenly found a mutated bull could actually take my blow. Not bad. It seems that there is still some strength among these ferocious beasts. Why don't we keep some for cultivation? I immediately entwined the mutated cow with tree roots. At the same time, I selected some stronger ferocious beasts. As for the rest, just consider all of it as my evolution points. This battle raged from day to night, and now it has finally quieted down. But the problem has not yet been resolved. What should we do with these two human girls? If we kill them, it will definitely attract the human army. As I pondered, I suddenly thought of a solution. It's right after the two girls wake up from their coma. I hastily wrote on the ground to indicate that I was their father. The two people who saw this scene looked incredulous. At that moment, I was sweating profusely. I didn't know if this method would work. At this moment, one of the girls suddenly asked, "Since you are my father, then tell me what our names are." Upon hearing this, I immediately called out, "System, check their information." It turns out one of them is called Xiaoling. There is one named Xiaoqing. When I said their names, the two girls instantly teared up. I quickly turned my own branches into two wooden hairpins and gave them to the girls. I don't know why. I actually have some different feelings towards them. Maybe this is where their father is buried. It's a strange reaction to being underneath you, isn't it? Perhaps at this moment, I've really started to regard them as my own daughters. Later, I learned from their mouths that strange changes were also happening in the outside world. Some planes were inexplicably attacked by flocks of birds and exploded, especially in the ocean. Various massive sea monsters have appeared. These signs are believed by experts to be a resurgence of spiritual power. As for those Western guys, they call it the awakening of magical power. Hearing this, I suddenly feel like this world is full of dangers. Just then, Xiaoling suddenly grabbed some meat and went to feed the wolves, but the fierce wolves were not buying it at all, and they bared their sharp teeth one after another. At this moment, the red fox suddenly gave them a fierce stare. The next second, these wolf cubs were instantly too scared to move. Seeing this scene, the little spirit couldn't help but praise Little Red for being really awesome. I was speechless. This little brat is really presumptuous. But in addition to these wolves, I also caught many other ferocious beasts, especially this flat-headed big brother. It's never a moment of peace. But it's not time to deal with them now. Just credited so many evolution points. It's time to strengthen myself. This upgrade not only restored my original body, and there's also an additional hallucination skill. I can release a mist with a range exceeding several kilometers, and within my mist, it can also produce hallucinogenic effects. Next time when encountering the battle-axe snake, I will definitely dismantle it. And at this moment, in a certain cave, a pair of blood-red eyes is staring intently ahead. A creature appears in the deep sea. A mutant electric eel that stretches for thousands of kilometers. The federal nation even launched 3 nuclear missiles at it, in an attempt to eliminate it. Although they succeeded in driving it back into the sea, they failed to inflict much harm on it. Meanwhile, on a certain island country, has already been reduced to ruins at this moment. Those who survived are still hoping for assistance from the Federation. But at this moment, a massive mutated coral crab suddenly appears. Just a moment. The last line of defense of the island nation was mercilessly destroyed. It turns out this is an era of spiritual revival. Some animals, after evolution, have turned into various terrifying monsters. I am one of them. Through systematic evolution, I have now become a first-order mutant willow tree. In order to survive better in this world, I have recruited some wild beasts to be my minions. Yuju is responsible for keeping watch in the air. Feng Lang is patrolling on the ground. As for the other small animals, they are responsible for tidying up the battlefield. Of course, there is also a particularly lazy guy, just like this flat-headed guy. When I was about to give it a good beating, a dazzling light ball suddenly appeared next to it. And inside the light ball was the appearance of a girl. Just then, the light ball suddenly shot towards me at a high speed. It was only when it got close to me that I realized the girl was Xiaoqing. Shortly after, the light ball merged into my trunk. This operation has left me utterly baffled. I never expected to possess the ability to nurture a soul. At this moment, the system suddenly displayed Xiaoying's profile information. He's Xiaoqing, human race, mutated soul, immune to all physical attacks. At this moment, I am shocked. I never expected that Xiaoqing's soul would be preserved. Just then, Xiaoqing suddenly spoke. Who am I? Where am I? Upon hearing this, I quickly respond. Your name is Xiaoqing. You're the most important person to me. From now on, I will definitely protect you well, and I won't let you disappear again. Suddenly, a dazzling light emanated from Xiaoqing's body. It must be that her soul has not yet solidified. Immediately, I hurriedly infused the essence of life into her soul. It was just a moment, and Xiaoying's body grew another size. Later, through her spiritual power sharing, I saw another scene. At this time, Xiaoling was lying in bed unconscious, due to serious injuries. But Xiaoqing, her soul, told me that she was calling for help. It seems like she can control Xiaoling's body. Just as I was going to ask Xiaoqing to try if she could integrate into Xiaoling's body, the scene suddenly returned to the present. It turned out that Xiaoqing's mental power was completely exhausted after this experiment. I suddenly had a bold idea. At the same time, on the other side, 2 humans appeared above the canyon. It turns out that in this era of spiritual revival, a group of extraordinary individuals have also awakened among humans, and among the team that came to investigate this time, there is indeed an extraordinary person. But now the entire canyon is shrouded in my mist. They just got lost as soon as they entered the forest. At this moment, the extraordinary suddenly sensed something, and then vanished from the sight of everyone in a few leaps. On the other side, at this moment, Xiaoqing suddenly felt uncomfortable again. It turned out to be her sister, Xiaoling. I am in the midst of a soul fusion with her. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Xiaoqing's body was pierced by the serpent. Unexpectedly, her spirit fused with Xiaoling's body. Meanwhile, inside the village, the exceptional individual looked at the little spirit on the bed in astonishment, because he sensed a weak spiritual power emanating from this girl. And it was an extremely rare fire attribute talent. Immediately, he hurriedly took out a bottle of spiritual power potion from his pocket, just as he poured the potion into Xiaoling's mouth. In the distant forest, Xiaoqing instantly felt a tremendous spiritual power, with a red beam of light soaring into the sky. The next second, Xiaoling miraculously sat up from the bed. Xiaoqing felt Xiaoling's body. While reporting to me in the forest, with Xiaoling's body, it's much more convenient to inquire about human affairs in the future, when the village gathers for dinner at night. Xiaoling learned from the extraordinary person that their mission this time is to come and investigate. It turns out that humans are here to better monitor mutant beasts, so they launch satellites to conduct psychic power detection worldwide. Whenever abnormal psychic power fluctuations are detected, an inspection team will be immediately dispatched to conduct on-site investigations. Hearing this, I couldn't help but think, it seems like humans still don't know of my existence. But in the event that they discover me, I'll have no choice but to fight. The next day, the sun had just risen. The exploration team is getting ready to enter the mountain, but they have just entered the forest. And my mist has already caused them to lose direction. I thought they would leave after they couldn't find their target. But I didn't expect them to be so stubborn. Then, don't blame me for being ruthless. As the squad goes deeper, the surroundings also become more bizarre. Just at this moment, suddenly, a wolf's howl came. This sound made them all feel as if a great enemy was approaching. The general also urgently told everyone to grab their weapons. But before he could finish his words, he was bitten in the mouth by the wind wolf. The extraordinary person who saw this scene was instantly surprised, and immediately shouted, "Not good, this is a mutated wind wolf," then ordered all team members to suppress with firepower. But the bullet couldn't even break through the wind wolf's defense. At this moment, the extraordinary Gao Yuan leaps high in the air, then he fiercely kicks the wind wolf's head. But the wind wolf is not easy to mess with, it swiftly strikes Gao Yuan with a claw. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see Brother Ping suddenly launching an attack. It's just a simple collision, but it sends them tumbling. At this moment, a team member rushes toward them. Ping 2 just fired an armor-piercing shell, but after a loud bang, fear appeared on their faces. Because 3 mutant wind wolves appeared in the field at this moment. One medium-level ferocious beast is enough to threaten a city. And the mutant wind wolves here are at least above medium level. Just thinking about this, Gao Yuan hurriedly ordered a retreat. Because these ferocious beasts are simply not something they can deal with. That's it. This exploration mission resulted in the loss of 6 humans. Wolf foxes escaped from the forest at the cost of seeing their departing figures. I don't think humans will come again in the near future. At this point, I asked again about Xiaoying's situation. She said she had been taken by humans in a car. They said they were taking Xiaoling to some kind of extraordinary academy. When I heard this, I couldn't help but think of, great! This is a great opportunity to infiltrate the human race. But just at this moment, Xiaoling suddenly tilted her head and fell asleep. It turned out that Xiaoqing had been controlling Xiaoling for a long time. My mental strength has reached its limit. I quickly gave her some life essence. hoping to quickly increase her mental strength. At this time, the wind wolves returned from outside, but Big Head Brother looks like he's seriously injured. It turns out it was hit by 2 armor-piercing bullets from humans. If this guy wasn't so strong-willed, he would probably have been in a coffin by now, seeing how badly Flathead is injured. I hurriedly reached out a tree root. An artificial lake was built in the open space ahead. Then a drop of life essence was dripped into the lake. It was just a moment, and the magnificent power of life instantly shone throughout the valley. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but exclaim. I never expected that after dilution, the essence of life still could create such a scene. The little animals beside it were even more excited. Later, I put in the seriously injured Flathead. Although the diluted essence of life cannot compare with the spirit river, there are still healing and nourishing effects. You should know that the roots of the tree have already spread thousands of meters underground, and have also found an underground river filled with spiritual energy. This kind of spiritual thing, I think it must be of great benefit to animals. And maybe humans are also looking for this natural treasure everywhere. In front of a certain scientific building at this time, Xiaoling arrived here under Gao Yuan's lead. He told Xiaoling that this is the Extraordinary Academy for Humans, where all the students are extraordinary individuals with awakened spiritual powers. Not long after, Gao Yuan arrived at the principal's office. After Gao Yuan explained this investigation process to the principal temporarily designated the mountain as a yellow warning zone. Ever since the spiritual energy has been restored, humans have divided different regions into different levels. Places where humans reside, such as the green areas, places where humans can safely live, yellow area. That means there is a certain degree of danger. Surveillance is needed in the red area. The entire human race must be monitored at all times, and if necessary, forceful suppression must be carried out. The last is the life-forbidden zone. It is a place that absolutely cannot be stepped into. According to current monitoring reports, most of the world's territories have now been declared as yellow warning zones. The scene returns to the forest again. Since the last retreat of the human squad, I've been enjoying a good time of idleness. Every day, the wind wolves bring me evolution points, and I don't need to actively hunt around anymore. Watching the system pop up reinforcement prompt, without hesitation, I reinforced the willow branch to the 2nd stage. This upgrade not only made the willow branch more resilient, and there's an added numbness attribute. Watching the troublemaking crew in front of me, I immediately whipped out at them. Just in an instant, the troublemaking crew were paralyzed and couldn't move. It's only been a second, and Flathead is full of life again. Damn, really? What's the use of being paralyzed for just a second? But at that moment, suddenly, Xiaoqing next to her burst into laughter. She said that honey badgers are naturally immune to poison, so this little bit of poison is nothing to them. At this point, Xiaoqing continued to say, on the human side, they're arranging for me to enter the College of Extraordinary, and in a couple days I have to undergo a test of spiritual power. Hearing this, I immediately gave her a drop of life essence as a gift. With my help, I'm sure Xiaoling will shine tomorrow. The next day, at the Hyperion Academy's Spirit Power Research Department, Xiaoling, under Gao Yuan's guidance, arrived at a testing hall. At this moment, inside the hall, it was already filled with a dense crowd of students. One of them looks very arrogant. The arrogant girl looks extremely smug. Watching Xiaoling being brought in by Gao Yuan, she couldn't help but make a sarcastic comment. Where did this rural girl come from? She really has the smell of mud on her. But just then, the principal suddenly appeared on the platform. Hello everyone, now the world is undergoing changes. We can only survive better through continuous evolution. If humans, but you, are the best seedlings of the evolutionary era. From now on, feel free to showcase your talents. Hearing the passionate speech from the principal, the students are instantly filled with high spirits. But in the next spiritual power test phase, their performance did not please the instructors. Just because the majority of the students' spiritual power tests were at a low level. This made the nearby examiners very displeased, but just then, The arrogant girl walked up. It was just a moment. The instrument for testing spiritual power suddenly emitted a burst of white light. The examiner who saw this scene exclaimed in disbelief, "Her spiritual power value is actually as high as 2,000. This move has attracted the envy of many." However, the arrogant woman didn't enjoy it for long. At this time, Xiaoling stepped onto the test platform again. Just as the examiner was still exclaiming that he had found a treasure today, suddenly, a dazzling golden light burst out next to it. This scene was such that the principal couldn't help but marvel at the impossibility, all because Xiaoling's spiritual power has reached as high as 5,000. Moreover, this number is slowly climbing higher. Just then, the test bench suddenly exploded with a bang. Upon witnessing this, Xiaoling hurriedly covered her mouth and said, "Sorry. Looks like I broke it." After completing the spiritual power test, the next step is the practical combat test. At the beginning, everyone was full of confidence, but in no time, most of the students were beaten and lying on the ground. The examiner suddenly sneered and said, "Is this all you've got?" Upon hearing this, Xiaoling immediately got angry, and then erupted with a burst of fire elemental power. It was just a moment. Xiaoling quickly rushed to the examiner's front, but the result was easily dodged by the examiner. However, at this time Xiaoling's speed became faster and faster. Just as the examiner was distracted, Xiaoling's palm slapped onto his chin. As soon as the principal saw this scene, he immediately gave the order that this child named Xiaoling must be prioritized for development. But what they didn't know is that Xiaoling is actually my undercover agent among the humans. When the spiritual being Xiaoqin comes to me, after reporting today's assessment process, I couldn't help but smile with joy. I didn't expect that the plan to infiltrate the human society would be so easy. Meanwhile, the villagers at the foot of the mountain were also left here under the arrangement of the government. So, as the seasons change, slowly, I have been here for more than a year. Now I have already reached the peak of the first order of transcendence. Just need to reinforce the remaining roots. Then you can break through to the extraordinary second level. But what if the upgraded spiritual power fluctuations attract the attention of humans? What should we do then? Just at this moment, Green suddenly shouted that something bad had happened. So it's the Transcendental Academy discovered a spiritual stone vein in the northwest. However, just as they were preparing to mine it extensively, a second-order extraordinary snail suddenly burrowed out of the spiritual stone mine. Hearing this news made me feel instantly alarmed. All because of this spiritual stone. With it, the speed of human advancement will greatly increase. I used to think that reaching the transcendent third stage would enable me to confront humans head-on. I was still careless. The pace of human evolution may be faster than I imagined. At this point, Xiaoqin continued, there was no such thing in that area before. I'm not detecting any psychic energy fluctuations. I don't know why suddenly an extraordinary second-order silver snail appeared. It's probably due to the ability to conceal its aura. Or it could be a problem with the batch of spirit stone veins. At this point I asked, did the humans over there not make any counterattack? Xiaoqin quickly said, because it's the first time encountering a disaster-level beast. They were caught off guard. Once things are understood more or less, I let Xiaoqin continue to investigate the news of the spiritual stone veins. In the following days, I also continuously killed monsters to gain evolution points. Finally, after accumulating 800 evolution points, I started to strengthen the remaining 8 roots of my own. Although this process is painful, but I must endure it. After all, no one knows whether there are any threats to my existence in this forest. Some people regenerate into Godzilla, while I regenerated into a tree. A decorative willow tree, to be exact. The worst part is, fortunately I have the evolution system. As long as I keep killing monsters, I can continuously strengthen myself. During this time, I also met 2 human girls. I learned from their mouths. Unbelievable evolutions are happening all around the world. There are giant-sized gorillas, and also hundreds of meters tall poisonous spiders. The most mysterious of all is the deep-sea monster in the Pacific Ocean. Humans have also begun monitoring the world. They have started intensive inspections on areas where the spiritual power value exceeds 5,000, but at this moment, the display suddenly emitted an alarm. The man who saw this scene was unbelieving. Yin Jingsheng. At this moment, the screen unexpectedly displays a spiritual power value exceeding 18,000. And what caused this disturbance is precisely the evolved battle axe giant. Meanwhile, on the other side, unaware, I was still frantically killing monsters as countless tree roots struck out. The densely packed bees, instantly regarded as my evolution points, with the cooperation of the Yoji team, killing monsters has become much more convenient and under the nourishment of my life essence. They have all been promoted to level 7. So now, it's time to strengthen my tree roots again. Looks like it will cost 100 evolution points. It's a bit painful to think about. After I press the upgrade button, the next second, the familiar pain of the fork strikes. But then my root also began to undergo tremendous changes. Its original dark red color has transformed into a dark black color. Even its length has increased to several kilometers, just with a casual stretch. Countless monsters were instantly entangled by my tree roots. Their powerful destructive force rampaged through the forest. In less than a moment, the tree roots were covered with the bodies of monsters. Ding! Got 210 evolution points. Hearing this news, I couldn't help but exclaim how cool it is. The roots now form a protective circle around me. Once danger comes close, I could instantly find. But at this moment, the red fox suddenly stumbled and fell in front of me. It is covered in wounds at the moment. There is not a single intact area on its entire body. As I saw this scene, I quickly infused the essence of life into its body. Just as I wondered who could have injured the red fox like this, a deafening roar suddenly came from the distance. That gigantic battle axe, a kilometer long, suddenly appeared above the canyon, and still holding a human in its mouth. It's none other than Xiaoqing, who hasn't been seen for a long time. The battle-axe snake throws its head back, just about to swallow Xiaoqing whole. I quickly waved the newly evolved black vine root. But in just an instant, my root rushed to the front of the battle-axe snake. With a loud bang, the battle-axe snake was caught off guard by my attack, and I took the opportunity to rescue Xiaoqing. At this moment, the battle-axe snake looked at itself, sweating profusely from the hole in its chest. It didn't expect that I would become so strong. Then it turned around and fled in the opposite direction. But I don't have time for it now, because Xiaoqing has no life breath anymore. In order to save her, I hastily infused all the vital energy into her body. As time went by, Xiaoqing still showed no response. Meanwhile, on the other side, Xiaoling was also taken to the hospital by the villagers, but doctors told them the snake poison in Xiaoling's body is too strong. It's probably very difficult for her to wake up. Upon learning this news, I was extremely furious. I immediately ordered the fierce beasts under my command to intercept the battle-axe snake. Although they are no match for the battle-axe snake, but I still rushed toward it resolutely. Just in a few rounds, the battle-axe snake was forced to retreat, and I took the opportunity to use a tree root to entangle it. As I pulled with all my strength, I then dragged the battle-axe snake in front of me. At that moment, the battle-axe snake was sweating profusely. It didn't expect to be hit by a tree like this. And this time I don't intend to give it any chance for a counterattack, as the tree roots fiercely strike. In an instant, I pierced through the body of the battle-axe snake. Then I transformed tree roots into the shape of a fist, and fiercely smashed it to pieces. At this moment, the battle-axe snake was already dead beyond death, but even so, I'm still not reconciled, so I used the tree roots to lash its body, with a continuous series of hits. But no matter how I vent my anger, Xiaoqing and Xiaoling could not possibly be brought back to life. In the evening, I gathered all the animals together. Then I bestowed the essence of life upon them one by one. In no time, they all began to evolve. The mutated wild buffaloes have upgraded to Tier 3. I didn't expect them to possess elemental attributes. It seems that my life essence is simply like the meat of Tang Sanzang in the animal world, but some small animals absorb the essence of life, without much change in appearance or form. Just then, those animals began to bow to me. Even the rebellious flat top bowed to me. I was deeply moved when I saw this scene. With their help, I believe I will be able to establish a vast forest empire in the future. But what I didn't know was, on the hill not far away at this time, 2 humans are secretly discussing something. I heard that giving likes makes people more beautiful.